Here come the boys. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
Hey, there you are. Welcome back to Swim Lessons, the podcast. I'm Dallas Hansen. When I started Swim Lessons, I wanted this to be a podcast about everyday life for everybody and all different types of people, that whether professionally, sports, whatever it might be. But lately we've been getting kind of in more of a coaching realm, and that's not what I set out to the podcast to be. It was supposed to be about all walks of life. So this is one that I'm really excited for. This podcast is with Brother Venus. Brother Venus is a band out of Bozeman, Montana. One of their founders is from Plentywood, Montana, Cody Lindblom, and I've known Cody throughout my life, so it was fun to sit down, and I always enjoy talking to dreamers. And Brother Venus are just a bunch of dreamers trying to make it big in the music industry, and it was fun to talk with them. And then at the end, they played some live music from their new album. Make sure you check them out on Spotify, Apple. They've got some really cool things on social media as well, and that's Brother Venus is their name. And I really enjoyed talking with them, and I think the future is bright. They play a lot of live shows in Billings, Montana, Bozeman, Montana, all over the state of Montana, and they're a fun group of guys. And we just got to talk to two members, both founders, so it was fun to talk with the great and powerful Brother Venus. But hey, before we get to Brother Venus, guys, it's summertime. It's here finally. If you live in the state of North Dakota, it's time to get outside and it's time to enjoy an adult beverage. And what better place to do that at other than the beautiful balcony sports area bar on top of Sports on Tap. Guys, I've been there. It's awesome. It's right in the heart of Minot, North Dakota. Go up there, date night, whatever it might be. Bring your best buddies. Go watch a game up there. They've got all kinds of TV. They do live music up there. But Sports on Tap in downtown Minot, North Dakota has got the best summer vibe in the world. So make sure you check them out. And they're on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be. And another cool thing is they've been locally owned and operated in Minot for the last 30 years. Tony Mueller and his family do a great job. And if you're looking for some food, don't go any further than the connecting business, and that's Planet Pizza. Planet Pizza has the best pizza in North Dakota and the world. So I really appreciate the sponsor from Sports on Tap and Planet Pizza. Call them at 701-837-8220. Oh my goodness. And our next one, it's baseball, softball season. We got to talk about PSP Network. PSP, Nick Holberg and his crew do a great job. They've been doing a lot. I know they've been busy. Nick's been doing some racing stuff, and also his team has been doing softball, baseball, all for high school athletics. And you can check out PSP Network on their website, psp.network, or follow them on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel. It's a powerful channel on YouTube. It's PSP Network. And give them a like, and make sure you share, leave a comment, just say thanks. And if you're an athlete looking to watch some game film, go no further. Go check out PSP Network. It's always fun to watch game film, and you've got announcers announcing the game as well. So appreciate PSP Network for the sponsorship. Last but not least, the great and powerful Glasso Angus. Glasso Angus, a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons. Glasso Angus is your premier source for registered black Angus cattle since 1973. That's a long time, folks. Glasso Angus cattle showcase dominance, durability, and docility, and they are built to thrive on the northern plains. Check out Glasso Angus, that's GLASOE Angus.com. If you have a company that might be interested in sponsoring Swim, let me know. Dallas Hansen on social media or dallashansen@gmail.com. And I appreciate everybody that's listened so far. We're closing in on some big milestones, and some of the future guests we've got coming up. I don't know how I'm going to contain myself. It's going to be a hell of a ride, and it wouldn't be possible with everybody that watches, listens, and makes this all possible. So just know I appreciate you. But without further ado, I give you the music powerhouse that is Brother Venus. Brother Venus in the house. Boys, what's going on?
Dally, how you doing, man?
Cody, it's good to see you. The Laird. Yeah!
Yeah.
Dude,
What's up, man?
I loved that Instagram piece that you guys put together when you first introduced like the band, and you were down here somewhere in your studio, and
Yeah.
like, it's me, Cody, the Laird. Yeah!
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
What's the story behind that? Like, what's the Laird mean?
So
my brother and his friends just started saying that everything was layered. Like, oh, have you heard that song? That shit's layered. And so I would
Like that's
come
cool.
Yeah.
Or sick.
It's a good thing. So I would come and hang out at their house, and we would jam because they had like a drum set and everything down there. My friend Schmeg and Kevin and my brother Brian, and they just ended up started calling me that. So it kind of translated to that because we were drinking one night and playing, and they're just like, dude, you're fucking layered. I was like,
That's
okay.
awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys taking some time today. It's nice. And you guys, Brother Venus just came out with their, is this your first
It's our first full
album?
length, yep.
So let's talk a little bit about that. How did you two meet each other, and how did Brother Venus come together?
Oh man, many moons ago when Cody and I were in college, we had a couple music classes together freshman year, but we didn't really quite know each other yet.
11 years ago.
Wow.
Oh, don't say that. It's a scary number. And then sophomore year, another guy, Tony, and I were putting together a band, and we were kind of looking for like somebody who could sing and rap. And I was like, that Cody guy knows how to do that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So then we hit him up, and I'll let him tell this part because it's way funnier when he does.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I had met Kurt. I'd seen him around. Small. So the MSU School of Music is like pretty small. So, you know, like Crosby High School, it's like there's nobody there you don't see every day. You know pretty much everybody's name, you know, if you've been introduced. And so I'd seen him around. We chatted a couple times, maybe just kind
Bullshitting
of
after like music theory and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
just like in the hallway, you know, talking about music crap. And then, and I didn't even know who Tony was. I hadn't, as far as I knew at that point, it was like almost a year. I was apparently in classes with him. I was like, I've never seen this guy before.
Yeah.
But I'd hung out with him a little bit, and he messaged me on Facebook, and he's like, hey dude, me and Tony, he's in the guitar studio. He's, you know, we're thinking about putting together this band, trying to figure out who we wanted to front it. And we know you're a singer. You know, you've had a couple songs on the internet with some like rap stuff, and we thought it's cool. Are you interested in that? And kind of at this point, I had never really been in like a serious band, you know, where everybody's like, I really care about this and what I'm doing, and I'm trying to be, you know, be the best as I can be. It's always like this fun thing you do on the side, you know, or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if I need to get like locked into some band where everybody's like, you know, like super serious and like all that shit. And it's like, I was like, well, how serious are you guys about this? And in my head, I'm thinking, if they're serious, I don't think you know, like this is going to be too much. And he's like, really fucking serious.
Hell yeah.
And
dude,
then I was like, oh, well, this is a real thing.
yeah.
Like, well, that like, you know, I thought that was, if he said that, I would say no, but that's what I was like, that got me really interested. And I was like, oh, well, I've never tried to do this like really fucking serious before. That might be really cool. And I'm flattered that you guys are really serious and you reached out to me, you know? So like that played into it a little, and I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. Like, let's see what's up. And, I don't know what the timeline was between this, but at some point I think I met Tony, you know, and they're like, come over to Tony's house. We're laying down some demos of some songs so we can, you know, figure them out and all that. And, just come over and hang out and check it out. I'm like, sweet. I come over there, meet Tony, you know, I'm like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
I'm Cody, you know, and they're like, yeah, oh dude, sick. Oh, come here. Check this out here. Hand me a notebook and a microphone that's plugged in. And they're like, we're just like laying down this song. Can you sing this? Like,
right
can you
right
rap?
now?
Can you rap this? And I'm like look at, you know, I'm like, I could try, you know, like, what do we got? Like, how's it kind of go? You know, they played me the thing, and like within 10 minutes of getting there, I'm like recording vocals for some, the Bent Bones. That was what that band was called. The Bent Bones. For some Bent Bones songs. And that we released those recordings. So within 20 minutes of being meeting Tony and like being officially in the band, I recorded 4 actual songs that we released
Damn. All right, you're in it
So
now.
I was like, all right, yeah. But anyway, that was a cool thing, and we did that for
2 or 3 years, I think.
felt longer, but it wasn't that long.
Were you
It was like-
guys playing live shows too?
Oh yeah, all
Yeah.
the time
In
around
Bozeman
here.
here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going
Sweet.
pretty hard for those few years in school. Our drummer Hunter Hessian was he was a few years older than us. He had kind of like done some music stuff. Didn't, kind of like left school, went all in on the music stuff, and ended up migrating back to school.
Mhm.
And we kind of snagged him. He didn't really want to do it, but he is just unbelievably talented. So
I met him in the practice room one night, and I was playing Meshuggah in the practice room, and he was there for jazz band or something. And he like walks by the room and like kind of looks and then does like the classic like walk backwards, and he's like, "Are you playing Meshuggah right now?" So we just started talking that way. So that's basically how I met him. I'd heard about him through the School of Music because my friend Andrew Miller, who was also in the jazz program there, he goes, "Hey, I met this guy and I think he's better at double bass than you." I was like, "Shit, yeah, who's this guy? I want to meet him." Like,
let's see it.
he was like being all bashful about it. I was like, "Absolutely, I want to meet this guy,"
That's
Yeah.
sweet. So, Laird, you play drums in a different band, right?
Yes, in Liquid Nar.
Liquid
Yeah.
Nar.
Mhm.
And then you also play bass. Is it in
He played bass in the
Brother-
band that we're talking about.
Brother-
Yeah, in the
okay.
Bent Bones,
Bent
I
Bones.
played
Oh, Bent
bass.
Bones. What do you
Yeah.
play in Brother Venus?
I play guitar.
Play guitar. Okay,
Mhm.
sweet. Dude, how do you learn all those instruments? Because, I mean, some people just learn one and it takes them their whole life. How do you learn 3 to 4 or however many you know?
It kind of developed like an addiction.
Yeah.
Like only a healthy one, I
Yeah.
guess. So I started on guitar, I think when I was 10. I started taking lessons. And then in 5th grade is when you can start band where I went to school. So then I started playing trumpet. So pretty much right off the bat, I was already kind of playing 2 instruments at once. And then my parents wanted me to be in piano lessons, and I wanted to be in piano lessons. So I kind of did that for a couple of years. And I'd always wanted to play drums, but my dad didn't want like drums in the house.
Yeah.
So it
Classic
was like,
dad.
okay, if I'm at church, there's a drum set there, I'm going to play it there. Or like
Oh.
there was a drum set in the back closet in the band room. Well, as soon as we were done with rehearsal, I would just sneak back there and just start playing. And that's pretty much how I learned was doing that. And then
No
It
shit.
was a taboo. He was a
Yeah. Dude,
tabooed
that's
secret
sweet.
drummer.
Yeah.
took lessons a little bit later from a guy named Rick Fisher, who unfortunately is passed now, but he really got me started. He's like, "You can do the metal thing pretty good, but like let's work on your groove." And I was like, "Okay." So he really kind of got me started on that whole thing.
Hell yeah.
And then it just spiraled out of control from there. Like it was like, "Oh, well, I kind of want to learn how to play bass." So I kind of, messed around with bass for a little bit.
How old were you when you started playing bass?
My brother had one, and I kind of messed around with it maybe when I was like 14.
Okay.
Never really like seriously, but the band that I was in high school with him, we'd already recorded one album, and then we were gonna do another one, but he had left to go to school at that point.
Okay.
And he wasn't like out of the band, but he also wasn't around. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just do it. And that's also where my love of Warwick started, was I borrowed one from a guy from church, Chris Lose, and it just sounded so good straight into an interface.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, one day I need to be able to buy one of these.
Yeah.
And that was probably when I was 16. But then the whole reason why I wanted to be in the Bent Bones was like, I brought a bass to school, and I was like, I want an excuse to like learn how to play this well.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not playing it in a band,
You're not getting that.
Yeah.
like
those
most
reps, you're not
things,
getting that experience. Yeah.
you're not getting practice like writing cool stuff, which is really what gets you stoked. So then I started doing that, and that's, kind of was my mission, was I just want to learn how to play bass pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing that like a lot of people like me who just love music don't necessarily play it. And when you're going to write a song, like with your new album with Brother Venus, you're going to write a song. Do you think of like, oh, this girl in high school that dumped me, or like a job that I don't necessarily like, or a dream? What's like the first step? And either you can answer this, but what's like the first step you take when you're trying to write a song for an album?
Yeah, so I'll start on that with lyrics. So generally our process is he comes up with something, guitar parts, riffs, sometimes a full song with just guitar, like he's worked out stuff, and he'll be like, what do you think about this? Do you want to work on this? What should we do something? And if I'm feeling it, which is pretty much, I'm not going to be like, no, that sucks.
Yeah.
Trash that. But I'll try to like catch a vibe, just listen to the instrumental and just sort of like, what does this feel like? What do I feel like it makes me want to do? Like, does it make me want to like sing like soft and slow and pretty? Does it make me want to like, more upbeat, faster, fun? And then I just kind of start almost riffing, like sometimes I'll kind of scat it, like doo-ba-doo bop doo-bee, like no real words, or I'll just say whatever word I say and kind of go from there, once I sort of get the feel, the phrasing, the melody, and generally at some point in there, I'll have like accidentally said a couple cool things. And then I might key on that and go, okay, I like these phrases. How do these tie in? What can the theme of this be? And yeah, but there's been songs too where it's like from the beginning, I'm like, all right, this is about, like, I'm channeling this emotion. I'm thinking about a specific thing in my life or a person, like you said, a girl. A lot of times that ends up happening, just because,
Yeah.
as we are, it's always
Yeah.
an emotional thing. So, and like with music, you're trying to tap these emotions, and so that's kind of what I do a lot of times, and just try to play off of what he's doing. So far we haven't written anything that I have like a melody or like actual music for that then we try to set to chords and music. It's always been the other way so far.
That makes Laird.
So from a musical standpoint, it's funny. It's never like, I'm going to go home from work and I'm going to sit down with my guitar and write a song.
Right.
I think
Same with vocals.
I think maybe I tried to do that like once,
Put yourself in a box almost when you do that. Yeah.
and you're like, nope, I got nothing. And most of it I actually wrote at my job, because I taught a lot of guitar lessons for a lot of years. So at Music Villa, and if I ever had like a student cancellation, or if I ever had like a half hour or whatever block where I didn't have a student, I just sit there and kind of play. And pretty much every single one of these songs just started from kind of noodling around and going, okay, that's cool. Let me play that around a couple of times, and oh, well then what if it did this thing? And from where I'm at, none of these songs were hard to write. More often than not, it was like I ran out of time because I was just feeling it super hard and just trying to get as much of it down as possible. So just taking a bunch of phone videos or like voice memos and things like that. But yeah, it's never like a conscious thing where I'm like, I'm going to write this excellent song.
Yeah.
It just sort of happens. And it happened really fast. Like,
happened really fast.
That's awesome.
He
The
cranks this
longest
shit
song,
out, dude.
the longest song, which is the last song on the album, Empty Today. One of those parts was like something else that I kind of had floating around. And I started with that first riff. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I was like, oh, well, this old thing would actually go well with that. And then that whole song is like 10 minutes. And I think I had every riff and the whole arrangement done in like 2 hours.
Oh, nice.
And sometimes it's just like that.
Yeah.
And then other times, like Rod and Vanity, I've been sitting on that main riff, but I got stuck there. I
Right.
never
Didn't
ever
know where to
found,
go with it.
and that's one of the shortest songs.
Yeah.
It's like 4 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And just for months, nothing.
Well, we're going to play an excerpt from my favorite song, Wood Grain Ocean.
Sweet.
So we're going to play it real quick on here, and then we'll let you guys take it away. Is that what you're talking about right there?
No, not that one.
Not this.
No.
I mean, this sounds good, man.
Thank you, man.
It's a sick intro. So when you guys are going through that, like so when he says "I lost the sunlight," like that comes after, like Laird has kind of laid everything down and
Yeah.
then you come in. Okay, I didn't. So I thought it was opposite. I thought like you would write lyrics like, "Hey, I came up with this."
Yeah.
But that's
No.
cool that it does that. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think a lot of, depending on who's involved, you know, it's kind of always can be a different process, and who's kind of driving it, you know. Like he's kind of driving the song creation, you know. Like he'll, like I said, I mean, most of the time when he's working on stuff, he's not like sending me this riff and that riff.
Right.
It's like, hey, check this out. 3.5, 4.5 minute song built together, cut together, you know, like with intro, verse, chorus, bridge, you know, all the stuff. And he's like, what do you think? And it's never set in stone, you know, like if I was so inclined, I could be like, oh, cut that whole chorus out, or, you know, change the order of things, arrangements
This
and things
verse
like
is
that.
too long.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Okay.
So it's always like that. But, and then I write my best stuff with that, you know, like to have something to play off of. Like I can catch that vibe and then extrapolate.
Okay.
Where, I mean, I've written stuff ahead of time, but it's like, it's hard to be like musically creative, like melodically creative, unless you're working with harmony, like chords and stuff. And so unless I'm going to sit down and write the chord progression and sing and all that, which is on the table if I wanted to, but we've never had really a shortage of music to work with. So
yeah,
I just kind of like, I let him, you know, drive his truck and just try to, you know,
go along
do
with
what
it.
I can do, you know, to add to it. And if I have thoughts, if I have something where I'm like, oh, if it did this, that would be sick, then, you know, then we do that. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. Really quick, I want to let everybody out there know, because we were talking about him being a multi-instrumentalist. So for this album, he is playing everything
what
on the whole album.
Dude, that's awesome.
Except my voice. So like the lead vocals.
Versavel played some auxiliary percussion too.
Okay.
Steven Versavel up at MSU was awesome enough
Steven.
to do that for us.
Shout out Versavel. Yes. But yeah, so my vocals, he's doing backing vocals.
Okay.
So harmonies and stuff you hear behind my voice, that's all him. Some of them I'm layered in there with him, but he's on all of that, all the guitars, all the bass, all the drums, and most of the aux percussion stuff. We did do a cool session with Steven Versabel from MSU. He's a percussion
Actually, I think
instructor.
I saw that on your guys' Instagram. Yeah. Okay.
And so he's on there doing that, but otherwise, this is the guy. So
how long does that take? Dude, that's got to take weeks.
It's very funny because we knew that I was going to have to play the drums because, well, the only reason that I had to do any of this was because we had version 1 of the band, and then our drummer and bass player left the band.
Oh.
And so we're like, okay, we're kind of ready to record those, so I don't want to wait a year from now when we take the time to find somebody.
Because at that point, me and him had been working on these songs now for 2 years or a year and a half, and then we're ready to let's record this.
Yeah.
And then those guys, you know, someone got a job and whatever, you know. So then we're like,
we gotta move.
We're sitting on all this music. It's ready. You know, we've demoed it twice.
Yeah.
We recorded it. So this album is the third time that we recorded the whole album, basically.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't because we were not happy, but it was like it was like our homework. You know, it was like, okay, we can play these live. We know how it goes. Let's do like a mock recording where we record it all and like, is this working?
Yeah.
Do we need to fix this? Is this flow nice? Do we need to rearrange things? So we did a full demo of the whole album and then kind of did arrangement notes, you know, tweak some stuff here. I tweak some words, some melodies.
And lots of tonal homework too. Like we really used it to do like, let's try this mic on this song for the cab here. And we did a lot of that too. So it kind of took out any guesswork when it came to like the third time, which was the real time. It's like, we're going to use this.
This works, this works, this works, this works. We love how that sounds. There's no like, I hope it's going to be what we wanted.
Yeah, totally.
And so it did take a lot of time. Like from when I started doing drums, because I did drums first, and that was winter of
Don't
2
even
years
say it.
ago.
Oh, really?
That was winter of 2 years ago, and I think we did all 10 songs, and there was like an off weekend or two, and we don't really do anything during the week, so it was only weekends. I think total it was only 10 days of tracking for drums, maybe
At the most. I mean, drums went fast.
over like 5 weeks, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it was within 2 months. Drums were done.
Guitars were done in about 7 weeks, I think, with a couple
Yeah.
off weekends here and there because I was out of town.
Guitars maybe another 2 months. And again, you know, like you said, it's a long time, but we're working full time
Yeah.
around this, you know. So it's like, okay, when are you free? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not free this week. What about you? Oh, next week I'm not. So it's like, okay, we lost 2 weeks there.
Shit.
And that just happened
Yeah.
for, you know, the full recording of the album. And then even most of it was just 2 of us,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is easier than 4 of us. You
And
know?
I even lived here. This used to
Yeah.
be my room.
Oh,
slept
awesome,
right there,
dude.
yeah.
Here we go. One thing that when we talked about this, I think it's important, and it's kind of a good segue into this, but we've all got jobs right now. You know, we were just talking about that, but the dream is to do the dream full time,
Mhm.
and not taking away anything. But what does it take for you guys? Because you're probably, you know, you're working 8 to 5, whatever your hours might be, but then to find that extra push, the extra push to like, hey, we got to work on this album, dude, or we're not going to do it. Like, what does Larry, you want to just take it first? Like, what's that extra push from inside come from to keep continuing the dream of having a successful band?
It's because I love doing it.
Good question, dude.
That's pretty much the main thing. I love doing it so much that even though it's hard sometimes, you got to make time for it. And that's about the only downside of being a multi-instrumentalist is I've never felt like I had enough time to practice all of the instruments that I feel like I should be good at
Yeah.
to a level that I'm satisfied with. And people might take that as like a negative thing where you're never happy. It's like, no, I just know there's more.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying
Always
to
aiming higher.
go for
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the one thing that limits me is time.
Mm-hmm.
But just, you know, do I get to practice every day? Not usually. But when I do, I try to make those things count. Or if I know I have like 30 minutes here, you know, sit down with a guitar on the couch, even if I'm just like watching something, just keeping everything moving,
Mhm.
you know?
Cody?
Yeah, I mean, similar. He's a lot more disciplined than I am. For like, you know, you're making time, you're spending time, you're, you know, like, okay, I'm practicing, you know, drums today, I'm practicing bass tomorrow, I got this coming up, I got to practice that. I just have less. Well, like he said, he doesn't have enough. Well, none of us have enough time for anything, but
Yeah.
you know, he's like, I got the 5 things I want to learn, I want to be great at, but I only have, you know, I don't have time to do all those things. Well, I don't have so many things, you know, I'm singing and I'm doing, you know, I'm mixing and I'm doing that stuff. And the way he's passionate about instruments and playing and shredding and getting good, I'm passionate about the studio side of things.
Mhm.
And so, and he is too. I mean, he also is fully a part of all of that as well. But
I
that's
don't
like,
need anything else to do.
right. And that's like my, you know, that's my love. Like that's my passion. That's what I live for that. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, because he mixed the entire record,
Oh, damn.
and that
okay.
took time too.
Yeah, yeah.
right. So yeah, all this stuff takes fucking time. But I mean, when I was in college, people used to always be like, oh, you must ski, you must snowboard. I'm like,
I did
no,
music, man.
I don't. And they're like, why not? Like, what the heck? You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I have like another like crazy expensive hobby,
Yeah.
which is music and like gathering recording gear for recording shit. And like when it's the weekend and I've got time to do stuff, you're like, oh, let's go climb a mountain and let's go ski or whatever. I'm like, that doesn't sound cool at all, but I will do this all day, all night, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it's a lucky thing that I care like that because other stuff, I don't have that discipline.
Right.
But, you know, when I'm working on something, like I'm excited every day
Yeah.
by the end of work to like go home and like get back into that.
Yeah. That's
and, you
dope.
know, so there are times during this album and some other albums we've done for other bands where it's like, you know, I'm going to work 8 hours, then I'm coming home and I'm mixing for 4 hours all week, you
Yeah.
know, and then all weekend. And so it's like I'm end up working, like 80 hours, but 40 of them were like, it was technically my free time. And that's what I was choosing to do with it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're doing it, man. It's inspiring to see you to chase your dream, because not everybody has the balls to do it. So it's cool. So
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you guys. So we've been going at it for about 26 minutes. We got 2 segments left.
Cool.
Okay, this is called 10 for 10. It's 10 questions. There's no right or wrong answer. You just got to answer them as quick as you can. Who wants to do it?
We're not good at that.
Who wants to do it out of you two?
I'll do it.
You'll do it, Cody?
Yep.
Okay. The Plentywood, Montana native.
Yes,
we
sir.
grew up like an hour apart from each other.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I've known Cody a long time. Okay, Cody. 10 for 10 on swim lessons. You ready, buddy?
I'm ready.
And away
Swimming.
and away we go. Cat or dog?
Dogs.
Hot dog or hamburger?
Hamburger.
Palm trees or evergreen trees?
Evergreens.
Lake or ocean?
Ooh, lake.
Favorite actor?
Actor. Oh. Man, holy cow.
Whoever's hot right now.
John C. Reilly.
Good pick. Favorite band or rap artist?
Ooh.
Good Lord. All right. Favorite for me personally. Okay, I'm just going to do right this moment
Yeah,
because this changes all the time. I'm super into Frank Zappa right now.
Frank Zappa. Okay. What city in Texas has an NBA mascot nicknamed the Mavericks?
Oh man, I know this.
Dallas.
I can picture the
It's okay.
the Dallas Mavericks.
There we go. What city in Texas has an NFL team nicknamed the Cowboys?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Yes. What city in Texas spelled backwards reads salad?
Dallas.
Who is your favorite podcaster / new best buddy?
Dallas.
Boom.
Hanson,
There we
baby.
go. Hell yeah.
Boom.
Swim
You
lesson.
didn't even need to set that up. I'd have done that for you.
Appreciate you. This is both. You can answer this. We'll start with you, Cody, since you just quit talking. Swim Lessons is a podcast about overcoming the tough times, keep swimming through everything, rough waters. What does Cody say to himself when your back's kind of up against the wall, and maybe someone who's listening to this can take this away from their podcast and make it applicable to their life?
Yeah, I mean, man, it's funny. A lot of this stuff, a lot of this music stuff, especially, it's music. It's very vulnerable. It's very, you really got to put yourself out there, and that can be really hard to do sometimes. And if, and we're all full of self-doubt and insecurities, and
If you're not, congratulations.
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
man,
shit.
Good for you.
if you're not, get into something performance-based, because
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing for most people is like getting over that thing. And so, I mean, just find some, be passionate and take the rest of it out of the equation. Like with these mixes for this album, I really kind of had an epiphany this summer when I was working on mixing this album, and that was that like I was trying too hard, like I was trying to make it more, and I was trying to do this, and it was like, okay, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We've recorded it. The recordings are done. I've got to, mix them together. I've got to get them nice, but like, just be okay with it. Like, do your best, be honest with yourself, do it, but don't, and then let it go. Like, let it go and move on to the next thing. Like, take the rep, learn the thing, learn the experience, then start your next rep, because
Wow, that's good.
it's like like the first song I ever wrote, never finished it because it was never good enough. Well, no shit. It was the first song I ever wrote.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? Like, get it over with, get it done. Like, first of all, the first thing you ever wrote, it's not going to be the best thing you ever did. So like, get some reps in.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon, then you will do something that, you've built up enough experience and stuff. So anyways, yeah, just like, do it for the right reasons and don't get lost in the bullshit,
That's good. Laird, leave us with some here, buddy. What do you do when your back's against the wall and you're kind of got some self-doubt creeping in that musical mind?
So I read this book by Zorro the drummer. He's a really famous hired musician.
Mm-hmm.
He's played for Lenny Kravitz, among lots of other people. In his book, he says, write yourself inspirational notes. He's like, I know it sounds really cheesy and like really lame, but just do it. And so on the recording desk that I had down here for a while, there's a sticky note on there that I wrote to myself that says, "Never lose sight of your dream. It will all pay off."
I used to read that every time I was down here working
That is
too.
sick.
So that
I love
worked
that.
double time.
And again, it sounds like corny and not something that I normally would have done, but I was like, okay, I'll try it, because I was kind of in a weird spot in my life, and
Easy enough.
when I would just like feel like things were not happening the way that I thought they should, I just look at that and go, essentially trust the process.
Right.
You're doing the work, keep going. Don't ever stop.
Boom.
Yeah.
That was really good. That might be one of my favorites. No offense, Cody. That was great.
yeah.
Now
Thanks, Zorro.
let's do a quick plug here. What about social media? Where can people find you, and where can they support the album at?
So if you really want to support us in the best way possible, like obviously the streams and stuff are good, but you don't really make anything off of that. You get
Nobody
exposure,
does.
but we have a Bandcamp, and the album's on there right now for $7. Obviously, if you feel like you're so inclined to pay more than that, you can. But most of that money actually goes to us, which would definitely help us, bring the show to wherever you're at, if you're interested in that.
Yeah, through Bandcamp, we get about $7 or $8 per $10 on the album. So we get almost all of that.
Okay.
Whereas like if you buy it on iTunes for more money, we're getting like cents still. Maybe $1.
That makes sense. Okay.
And then social media is...
Do whatever you want, but just saying.
I think it's just at Brother Venus on Facebook, at Brother Venus on Instagram, and that's kind of what we run.
Well, listen, guys, I appreciate taking some time. I appreciate the music. I like it. If you're out there listening to this, listen to Brother Venus. Hopefully, I have big things for you guys. You're gonna make it. I mean, I
Appreciate
think that
you, man.
and this won't be the end of the podcast. We're gonna end it here, but you guys are gonna get warmed up. And then we're gonna do some live music here.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
sweet.
sing a song.
So for now, this is it. But we'll play some live.
Sweet. Thanks,
Okay,
Alice.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.